rusty, so let's see if I get the intro right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another 5-star edition of Props to Consider, and then maybe bet. I am your host. I am the paragon of virtue. I am Betya. This show debuted October 22nd, 2022, and the guest for that show was my guest today, Paul Shaughnessy of the Dogger Pass podcast, of Canada, of the people. And my friend Tom is already just demanding. My friend Tommy is demanding that we don't talk, and I'll just buy him a couple.
How can we give you the bets if we STF you?
Yeah, good point. Paul, how are you doing on this lovely, frigid Thursday?
It's chilly up here. I live out in the East Coast. I live in Dartmouth, which is near Halifax, Nova Scotia. So it's not like it is. Like, I don't know if you watch on the Embedded, but like in Ontario right now, where all of these fighters who are coming from Vegas are getting dropped off, like getting off at Pearson Airport there. I don't know if you saw like Chris Curtis on like Embedded episode 3, but he's just like, he walks out the gate and he's just like, oh my God, why do you people live here? Like, get me out of this place. Like, they're having a real cold chill out there. Out here on the coast, it's still cold by, most Americans' standards, but wouldn't be that much different than where you are there, Lou.
I, for one, am shocked that Chris Curtis complained about something. I would never have believed that Chris Curtis is capable of complaining something. But but we're going to both address that fight as we go on. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for watching live. I appreciate it. I'm sure people will be rolling in fashionably late. If you've never seen the show before, we're going to go over a couple of props on the card. Co-main, the main, because they're both title fights. Finish off with a Yambag special. And that's it. And without further ado, Mr. Shaughnessy, what is the first prop to consider and then maybe bet for the people?
Do we start with the main event or do we start with one of the other fights?
No, we'll cover the 3 fights that aren't the title fights first.
Okay. First one, I mean, we kind of mentioned him off the hop, Chris Curtis. I got Chris Curtis by KO plus 265. I think that's at like the Canby books, or at least it was yesterday when I bet it. Most of the spots have like plus 250-ish around the market right now. Yeah, plus 240. I mean, obviously BetOnline has the worst numbers because they tend to be pretty sharp over
Unibet
there.
Has 265 too.
What's that?
Unibet has 265 as well.
Yeah, that's. I mean, Unibet, Canby. I call them Canby because it's like there's a whole bunch of conglomerate of books that all take those exact same lines. But yeah, so I bet it there. Marc-Andre Barriault has been fighting a lower level of competition recently. I love his pace. I love his pressure. I've never really thought his chin was actually great. And I feel like this is a opportunity for Chris Curtis, who had left Twitter. Maybe he's got less distraction there, focusing a little bit more on himself rather than what mean people on the internet are saying about him. But I think in terms of like power and the quality of strikes being landed here, I don't think it's going to be remotely close. It's going to take a lot for Barriault to like earn Curtis's respect. Curtis has an absolute granite chin, and his takedown defense is like, I mean, the guy's a damn brick wall. Like, nobody takes him down. So I see a little bit more pitter-patter volume coming from Barriault, but with that pitter-patter, he's not going to be able to, like, Curtis is just going to walk through it and hopefully at plus 265, get a KO for the boys. So that's my first pick of the week.
Well, I'll just come out hot since we're on that fight. It is a known fact to my viewing audience and anybody else that knows that Chris Curtis is probably my least favorite fighter in the history of the UFC. Like, I hate him. I've openly challenged him on my show. I die, but now it's the bit. Like, I got to stick with the bit. So I'm going to go with Barriault split decision at 14-1. Just because narrative-wise, nothing would please me more in a fight that Curtis clearly won and the judges gave it to Barriault. Nothing would please me greater than that. The thing about Curtis is that he's a really slow starter. He doesn't throw a lot of volume early. He gives away a lot of first rounds. So I already like that I feel like I'm getting spotted around. I agree with you about Barriault's chin. I think Curtis could find it. But I think Barriault's going to throw more volume, even if it's not electric moments. I think he's going to, I think he's going to probably win in the clinch. But as you know, everybody like loves Barriault's cardio. Chris Curtis' cardio is excellent. And if he starts working the body of Barriault, like at some point in the second round, I really do think that KO is live for you, but there's zero chance I'm ever picking Chris Curtis, like ever. So I'm going with the split decision. I don't think Barriault could win by finish. There's no way I see him winning by finish. Like Curtis is not like, he doesn't even get finished like attritionally. So I could see if Barriault can win the first, which again, Curtis is good at losing the first round, and maybe give me some dicey rounds or some close rounds. Maybe Barriault wins the minutes and Curtis has a couple of moments, and you just don't know. But I think that fight to end in a split period is probably decent. But
I think, if it goes to decision, I've already lost my bet. I would like your chances. I feel like if it goes to decision, the amount of volume that Barriault throws up, like I'm not gonna disagree with it whatsoever. Him by decision is, I know you said the split decision, but what is the exact price that you got on that?
On the split, it's 1,400. Or just the split, the fight to end in a split, or Barriault splits 14-1.
That's not so shabby. And we're in Canada. He's French though. He's French Canadian, kind of a difference, right?
Do you guys hate him a little? Like you don't embrace him fully.
They kind of hate us more, I think, than we hate them. But they are like, Quebec is like its own little thing inside of Canada. Like they have, if you cross over from Ottawa, Ontario into Quebec, it's just like, it feels like you've left countries, but it's obviously the same country, but like the culture, everything, they speak a different language, like everything's different once you cross over there. I love the French people, but I've worked with some in the past, and until they got to know me, they hated me because I was English.
If Barriault wins by split, you will hear me yelling from your house.
And you would deserve it. It would be an absolute banger call. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility. You're not going to get, like, this is such a crazy sport. It's just like I know people do it for content and stuff, and they're like, there's only one way that this thing could finish. And then it's like crickets the moment that it goes another direction. Like, you're not going to get like too much like feistiness. Barriault by split is a very, very valid thing that at 14-1, I don't think it's a bad look at all.
Before we move on, I want to say something that Liam had brought up earlier in the week, is that Barriault's 0-4 as an underdog in the UFC. So that concerns me here, but I'm just never betting Chris Curtis. Ever.
That's fair.
What is your second prop that you have on this lovely card?
On this lovely card, we're looking like more like plus money bangers, right?
That's what we do.
Okay. So I'm going to leave Movsar Evloev, which I think you can get at the Unibet, the Leo Vegas, all of the Camby books. That's minus 117, but that one doesn't count because it's got a minus next to it. I took Malott by decision plus 425. I know everyone's going to be like, Neil Magny, Malott's shown that like he can take people down, he can find the submission, he's been able to finish dudes. I get it, but it's like he's been doing that to pretty low level competition. You look at the guys who actually, were able to take Magny down recently and finish them by submission. We're thinking of two people right now: Gilbert Burns and Shavkat Rakhmonov. I think Malott's great. I think he may be the best fighter in Canada right now. I'm not willing to put him at that level yet. Those are top 5 guys. Neil Magny is a little bit long in the tooth, but I think this could be a fight where, the range, the length of Magny, the experience of Magny kind of makes Malott have to like drag it out a little bit, show that he's got 3-round cardio. And at plus 425, I feel like all the finish props on that one, Magny's been a tough guy to finish. I feel like those are just a little bit too wide for my liking. So I think the best price on market is at DraftKings Sportsbook plus 450. Malott by decision. It's a little bit of left field. It's probably a bit of a contrarian take, but I don't know. I see this one going the full 15.
I think if it gets out of the first round, I see it. Like, yeah. I think if Magny's durability just holds up, and Magny, I think, can win the third round at kind of a weirdly high clip. he can just vet savvy him. So I don't know. I have no action on that fight at the moment. We'll see if I get there. But all right, let's go to another Canadian. I picked all Canadians for this card. Looks like Jillian Robertson, round 2 plus 500. I don't want to do the submission prop. I think a KO is live. I think this is a pretty binary fight. I think Vieira is a better striker. I think Robertson, huge advantage on the ground. I think eventually she will get it to the ground, probably midway through the first. Wear out Vieira, who's going to be, or Viana, who's going for arm bars from guard. Robertson probably gets a takedown right at the beginning of round 2, has 5 minutes to work with, and just eventually gets her out of there, either ground and pound or rear naked choke if Viana gives up her neck. But I don't really have much more to add to that one. I think she's one of my more confident picks on the card. The minus 300s, feels outrageous, but a very clear grappling path here for Jillian. And I like her down at 115.
You're not worried about like armbar from guard?
I know Jillian's been sub. I know she's been sub before, but I just think Jillian's positional control is really good. And like I said, I really like her down at 115. I feel like she's one of the stronger people in the division at this weight class. So I like that she's made this move down. I think it's benefiting her greatly. So Jillian in the distance is like plus 105. I like that too, but round 2, 5-1. Let's fucking go. All right, Paul, what's number 3? And Monk, you missed it, man. We opened the show. We opened the show talking about this fight.
Monk you're talking.
We'll talk later. Monk and we have a show.
Oh, the Chris Curtis. Yes. We're already at odds on that one.
That's all right. What's your third and final prop before we get to the main and the co?
I haven't even bet this one.
That's all right.
For like cultural reasons. I mean, I bet Cab money line because I saw plus 330 early in the week, and I was just like, Cab catch a beating, Cachoeira for anybody who doesn't know. Like I just call her Cab. That's the nickname these days. But I was like, she's fighting in my country. I'm like, I'm gonna have a ticket. I have a little bit of CLV on that. So I've already won. I could already go on Twitter and just brag about, how much CLV and how smart I am, whether I win or lose. So pat myself on the back for that one. But let's get like real dumb. Cab, KO, 1. Oh, that's not, wait a second. What is that price on that? That's got to be like at least 20 to 1 for me to even take a look at it.
I don't think it's going to be 20 to 1, but I'm pulling
only 15 to 1.
I
don't mind it. I mean, I feel like we've seen it in all of her fights. It's like she's got to just like turn the fight into a damn war like she did against Lipsky, or Lipsky kind of let her do it like early. Cause like the moment her opponent shoots for a double leg takedown, she's on her back. And then whether Jasmine doesn't seem to really have like the submission skills per se to like really finish it. Like Cachoeira is okay at least surviving, sometimes to her own detriment. Like look at the Shevchenko fight. But yeah, 15 to 1. I mean, I'll have like a small little sprinkle on that for the cultural reasons of it all.
It feels like her win condition, so I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I like Cachoeira. Yeah. She has a place in my heart for whatever weird reason.
She's the best. She's the best.
So let's go to one more Canadian on the card for my last one. And this is, I don't have the round combo yet from FanDuel, but Katona round 2 sub 12 to 1, round 3 sub 14 to 1. Katona's world's better. I think this is a levels fight. He's fought the better guys. I think he's more well-rounded. His cardio is way better. And Armfield feels very front-loaded to me, pretty much in every one of his fights. I'm not saying he's completely round 1 or bust, but he does expend his cardio quickly, and he makes a lot of very poor decisions in the grappling realm once he gets tired. He's lazy takedowns, lazy shooting in, leaving his neck. Katona does have round 3 subs in his career. Armfield's been subbed a few times. I could definitely see this fight hitting the mat as a gassed Armfield just makes a crucial mistake, and Katona capitalizes on it. So round 2, round 3, 12 and 14 to 1, respectively, for Brad Katona. And he's another confident pick I have in this fight. Good live bet, probably.
I mean, that's his style, though, right? It's like he is looking. Typically, it's like, I mean, his reputation is like pretty good at wrestling. He's pretty good all around, but it's like he's looking to take you down, hang out and guard a lot of the times. The only thing that could be frustrating for those round 2 and round 3 props is that like he's just like he's a position over submission kind of guy a lot of the times, right? That we're like, unless he knows that like his opponent is dead dog tired, he'll just be like, I'm winning, so why would I change this right now? Just, throw a few strikes, keep busy enough so that the ref doesn't stand me up and on to the next. That's why he's so good in like those tournaments and doing like the Ultimate Fighter and stuff like that. It's like you have to fight smart to be like a good tournament player. He'd probably be better in like PFL, like trying to do that because his style is so safe. He keeps himself out of trouble. He doesn't take very much damage. What happens in most of those tournaments is those guys, they just get they get injured, and then like some goober that you're just like, this guy was eliminated in like 1 minute and 30 seconds in the first round of his first round fight, and it's like somehow that guy's in the semifinals. Like it's a tournament. MMA doesn't really work for a good reason.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he's due. April 2021 was the last time he got a finish. So I'm hoping that he knows that he's due and he gets one late. And Armfield just seems like a guy that like kind of quits about halfway through the fight. Like his body just can't go anymore. But all right, let's get to the co-main event. We got the title fight of Raquel Pennington and Mayra Bueno Silva. Bueno Silva is -175 currently. Paul, how do you see this one going? Just method, and I don't even care if it's plus money here. Just whatever you like on this guy.
It seems kind of straightforward. Like either Mayra Bueno Silva's early power with her strikes, but mostly like her grappling is going to take over. She's going to find the neck or a limb or anything. She's obviously tremendous at jiu-jitsu. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I feel like we've seen her kind of look pretty mediocre multiple times. I never really pegged her as somebody who's going to be in a title fight situation. I suppose Rocky's been in multiple title fight situations, and I never really pegged her as that either. So fair is fair, I suppose. My biggest thing here is like, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there's a fight somewhere earlier in her life, but it's like, has Mayra Bueno Silva ever won 5 rounds? I know Rocky doesn't have the best cardio, but she trains at altitude. She's very, very tough. If she can just keep out of trouble, keep distance, keep these early rounds kind of close, but like keep a half decent pace up, I'm not convinced that Mayra Bueno Silva has really shown me anything that she has, 5-round cardio. So I think the Pennington by KO round 4 and round 5 props are kind of ridiculous. I mean, even without like 40-1 round 5, 33-1 round 4. I mean, maybe don't even get greasy because she does have like that bulldog, or Pennington does have like that bulldog choke that she busted out like many, many moons ago. Because like round 4, I think round 4, round 5, Pennington is like really ridiculously wide odds for something. I wouldn't be shocked to like get into those championship rounds, and the person with much more experience shows that like I've been here before, I'm ready for it. So I mean, I bet Pennington's money line. I haven't actually bet those props, but those props, I've got them circled, and I'm probably going to degen into them at some point. What about you?
Yeah, I played Bueno Silva by submission. It's funny because like she never goes for takedowns. It somehow ends up in these situations on the ground where she can get a submission. I don't think Pennington's going to go for any grappling here. I think this is probably going to be stand up for a while. I think Pennington's going to land more. I think she's going to have more volume. I don't know if Pennington, like you're talking about the late knockout, attritionally, I could see her outstriking Bueno Silva every single round. The problem is Bueno Silva is one of these fighters that like she could be losing the whole fight and then she snatches a neck and wins the fight. And we've seen it a couple times before on her path here, but I'm going to play Bueno Silva in the distance. I don't know. She just seems like she's on a better trajectory right now, but I'm not confident about this one at all. I just think the meme sub is so live for her every single fight that I'm going to play it. But We are going to get to the main event now. This is a Twitter war fight, so I always love these. Sean Strickland, America's sweetheart, against Dricus du Plessis. Du Plessis is about even money right now, very small underdog. I'll start with this one since you've started with all of them. I like du Plessis here. I don't know why. I'm having a problem breaking down an actual reason why I like him. But I also think that du Plessis does not have a decision, really has decision equity here. If you watch du Plessis' fights, his cardio is always waning by the second round, but he's able to fight through it. And he's fighting guys who are gas bags, like Till, like Brunson, who really but he's able to fight through their cardio and these guys aren't. I don't think that'll be the case with Strickland. I think that if this fight gets extended in the championship rounds, Strickland's not going to give him a chance to breathe. He's going to be in his face, just throwing tons of volume and just never letting du Plessis get away. I also think that his Strickland's takedown defense is pretty good. Du Plessis has been decent on the ground. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if this fight really hits the mat a lot. Maybe du Plessis threatens a takedown early just to get him thinking, but I kind of think this primarily plays out striking. But I think rounds 2 and 3, du Plessis, that's probably his prime win condition. I think the first round's a little bit of the feeling out process. But I think du Plessis got to get him earlier when his cardio is not completely shot and before Strickland starts working the body. So du Plessis and over 1 round on DraftKings is plus 215 is a little same game parlay. Or if you just want to play him round 2 and round 3, I think that's okay too. But I like du Plessis here. And I guess I'm picking both members of that podcast, Strickland and Curtis, to lose. So that's what we're going with here. But what do you like for the main event?
Strickland late props. Again, I'm going with the late props, round 4, round 5, KO, because frankly, Strickland really has never shown much proclivity to go for submissions. And I don't really think he would be able to, even a tired du Plessis. I don't think Strickland, if he was put into that position, would even try. I think he would just pound it out. 24 or plus 2,500 and plus 1,900. Strickland by KO round 5 and round 4, respectively. I just think I like Dricus. I think he's a winner. I think he's super, super tough. But if he doesn't get Strickland out of there in the first 2-3 rounds, I think just the pace that Strickland is able to put on people is tough for literally any man. Even Adesanya was just overwhelmed by, he obviously got dropped early in that fight, and that probably he never really fully recovered from that. But it's just he just couldn't keep up with the amount of pace that was being put on him. And yeah, it's kind of funny yesterday watching Strickland in a presser in Canada. As soon as they booked him for Toronto, which is a pretty left wing city, I was just oh boy, I don't know if the UFC knows what they've got themselves into. It's probably good for for selling tickets and stuff like that. It's funny. It's like a social media experiment. All of the people quote tweeting Sean, calling him a horrible person. It's just all you did there is you did the exact opposite. You were driving more eyeballs, more attention, more everything to a guy who's getting pay-per-view points for saying this wild stuff that you're offended by and want to tell everybody that you're offended by. So, I think he's a bit of a psychopath. Don't get me wrong. I don't agree with any...
A little bit.
He's definitely a psychopath. I don't agree with everything that he's up to, but he may be a little bit sly as a fox, doing some of that stuff, especially on fight week. I know he says this stuff literally when he doesn't have a fight booked, so it's not always like that, but at a presser in that situation, he definitely drew more attention. Is that going to sell pay-per-views? I don't know. But I like him to win late if he's able to survive there, because I think Dricus is an absolute tank and could definitely put him away early. The only thing I've got on that main event are those round 4 and round 5 props.
I love it. Like I said, I think if this thing gets extended, he's super, super live to do it. 1,600, 2,200 on DraftKings. So pretty interesting. What's up?
I would say even just go with the KO too, because Strickland doesn't go for submissions. That goes against his bro code, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I have bet a Strickland submission in the past, by the way. That was the fight where Pereira knocked him out in like 3 seconds.
I think I bet that too, actually.
Well, I'm like, well, he should go for a takedown. And no, he's just not really
And
interested.
he didn't. He didn't even think about it.
He is not interested in that. But
No.
So that covers our main props. We got one piece of business left. We got the Yambag special. If you're watching for the first time, number one, shame on you. Just watch the show every week. Number two, we're betting on a point deduction. It doesn't have to be a kick to the sack. It's funnier that way. It doesn't have to be, though. It's just any point deduction that we get. It has been a while since we've had a point deduction, I feel. It's been too long, so maybe we're due. But, Paul, what do you got for the Yambag special for this card?
You're going to have to coach me through this. There's a couple of fights that I'm thinking. Okay, so Sam Patterson is like long, gangly. Does he even throw kicks?
Yeah.
Because like he doesn't look like he would be the most coordinated fellow. I could see Johan Liness eating one right to the pills pretty much immediately, like from the first hop. Like the Sam Patterson, yeah, long neck, kind of like looks like a giraffe. I don't know. Something screaming to me that like a shot to the pills is in the cards there. And I mean, another fight that, I mean, Priscilla Cachoeira has shown us that it's like she is willing to cheat to get herself out of trouble at the very least. Obviously against Jillian Robertson, where she damn, maybe that's why I love her so much, because it's like I have money on her every single time. And because she's such a big underdog, it's been profitable over time, but it's never necessarily pretty. But yeah, she was so close to, she was refusing to tap and basically just like clawed Jillian's eyeballs out because she wants it that bad. And I could see, yeah, if she gets taken down by Jasmine, her doing the same damn thing again. People are calling for her job there. And with her, like, you know, her current record, her job may be on the line here. It's like if she loses this fight, I don't know if the UFC will keep her around.
Yeah, I mean,
did I steal yours? I stole yours, right? Cachoeira?
Hey, that just means we agree. Yeah,
it's probably a good clam bag. Yeah,
it's Cachoeira clam bags. I don't know what else we're doing here. Just as soon as I saw her on the card, I'm like, well, that's like the first bet I wanted to lock in. Was like,
but they're not available.
Forget about like breaking down the rest of the card. I just want to break down the Yambags here. And yeah, I mean, she obviously has proven she's willing to rake somebody's eyes. She grabs the cage tons. Although, you know, now we're in an era where like you can get warned 38 times for grabbing the cage and they don't do anything about it. You know, I could see, and not only that, but like, so her cardio is like, it's weird because I feel like she's tired after 2 minutes, but like then she stays at like that level for the whole fight. Like she fights through it. She looks like she's slow and plodding, but she throws some heat. And yeah, and I don't think Jazz Vicious is like, she's horrible on the feet. Horrible. Like, I mean, I think she could get popped here. I'd be curious to see what happens if Cachoeira actually like can stuff one takedown, or this fights on the feet for like a minute or two, and see how Jazz Vicious responds. I mean, be kind of interesting. Like, but it's Cachoeira. Like, there's no way. And my guy GCQ saying that BetMGM only has it at plus 1,000. They know. Yeah, they know. But
they know,
DK
like the first takedown attempt, there's gonna be eye gouges, and she's gonna just like jam her thumbs up into her cranium.
And I'm here for it.
I'm here for
it. It's 20-1 on DraftKings. Like, usually they are, unless it's like I know like the what's his name? Greg Hardy and Tybura was 18-1. We had one recently that was a main event that was it was Edwards Covington. It was like 15-1. They're like just banking on cheating in that fight. So I always love when I see that kind of stuff. But
you know what's the best thing about the Yambag bets?
Everything.
It's like it's not listed on like fight odds.
Of course. You can't put it on Bet MMA tips either. Like, it's not listed there.
But like that's almost kind of the beauty of it, because like those sites make it, you know, make the market a hell of a lot more efficient. There could be another site out there that offers these things at even bigger odds than you even knew existed.
I just want Bisping to say it once on air, and then I don't need to do shows anymore. Because that'll be the peak, is getting that word in the zeitgeist on broadcasts. Like
pack it up. There are no.
I got Mike's
MMA to consider. We've made it, baby.
I got Mike's MMA picks to say it. So that was a big. I had a bet with Brady. I'm like, I'm going to get him to say. I forget. It might have been Brady, but somebody was like, he's not going to say Yambag's in there. I'm like, I'm going to get him to say it. And he's like, yes, Lou, the Yambags that you speak of. And I'm like, I goddamn love Mike. He's the best.
Mike's the best.
He is the best. Yeah, have you seen his new videos where he's like by the fire?
Oh, buddy,
he's like stoking a fire. Like he's tremendous. There's a comedian named Joe Pera that is from the Buffalo area, and he's a lot like Mike, especially in the sense that like I can't tell if he's 30 or he's 73. Like it could be either one, and I wouldn't be really surprised. And they're so similar, and I love Joe Pera. So I think Mike doing these, hello, I'm by the fire right now. Let's break down a fight. Like I think Mike's just tremendous.
I think Mike's around your age, if I wanted to guess.
I actually know how old he is because I just asked him outright. He is 5 years younger than me, but I'm old as shit. That's the thing is I'm fucking old, man.
Yeah, you're holding up pretty good for your age, though.
Well, diet and exercise. You know what I mean? But that is it. Half an hour, perfect. Just like it's a sitcom. 30 minutes of your time, Paul. Thank you for returning. I appreciate it. You've gotten 2 pay-per-views now. We'll have to do this again. Tell the people where they can find you and what you're up to.
Follow me on Twitter at Paul Shag. Check out the Dogger Pass podcast on Mayo Media Network every Wednesday around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It usually is up there. We record it. Sometimes Cody shows up late. Cody can be a little bit like, he can be a tough guy to get a hold of sometimes. But we've been doing it for like almost like 10 years now. I was telling Lou before we got on here, me and Pat and Cody, we all met each other in college and had no idea where it was going to kind of lead us. And funny enough, we're still kind of working together even today. But yeah, it's find us over there on the Mayo Media Network. Don't see us stopping anytime soon. Thanks for having me on, Lou. It's always a pleasure. And we'll definitely do it again.
I would also recommend, even though you won't see Paul, is if you're a fan of the NFL, to watch the NFL show with the boys, with Pat, with Andercuffed, with Joff, because you have Paul on the sticks laughing at all of Andercuffed's weird theories of life. So I always enjoy the off-camera cackling.
Yeah, most of the time you just hear me on Pat's programs just laughing at those idiots behind the scenes.
It's hard not to, like, at some of the stuff. I've mentioned this before on Twitter, and I mentioned it, I think, on one of my shows. But if you can go and find the Tim Andercuff talking about the Monopoly tickets from McDonald's, and then Pat Mayo lighting one on fire and lighting a cigarette with it, is like one of the all-time hilarious things I've ever seen in my life. And Paul in the background just dying.
Well, I knew it was going to what the plan was there. But I mean, he falls for like all of our little traps. I will say that he has gotten a lot better. It's like he knows that like I'm usually up to no good. It's like if I suggest something to him, he always knows I'm kind of fucking with him at this point.
I don't want to rip on all Jets fans, but like for the season to go the way it did, all this false hope, and then Rodgers like out immediately is like your heart is just like it's so sunk. Now you're a Bills fan, so for you,
I love.
You're like great. It. You're like great, and I'm a Giants fan, so I hate the Jets.
I actually have never really I didn't dislike the Jets. Didn't really. I was kind of indifferent about the Jets until I met Tim. And then now I do have like a little bit of joy in watching them suffer, to be perfectly honest. Why? Because he has the same joy in watching the Bills suffer. But yeah, I mean, Tim, people in the chat are probably like, what the hell are these idiots talking about?
No, there's people here that watch that.
Okay. Tim is in an abusive relationship with Aaron Rodgers at this point. Like, it is disgusting. He's just like, whatever Aaron wants, we'll just let him have it. It's like he made you guys get like Randall Cobb and like Dalvin Cook and all these other like useless contracts, useless roster spots that you could have filled with like practice squad guys that who knows, they could have turned into something. They could have at least turned into like a good special teams player or something behind the scenes. Like There's so many, Nathaniel Hackett and Lazard, frankly, has absolutely sucked. Like all of the people that like Rogers is like, let me take this. I've got it. Everyone that he brought in that were like his capital G guys have been complete trash. So I don't know why you would. The problem is, I guess they're scared because it's like, what do? Go back to Zach? Like they have to put their faith into a 40-year-old guy with an Achilles tear for next year.
Yeah, I feel so
Good luck.
bad for the Jets.
Oh, I feel so bad for them.
I will. So I am on at midnight tonight on this very channel with Monk. Do the full card breakdown for the happy hour, all your DFS and betting needs and comedy in one show. And I will end with Paul. I don't have a bet on this game yet. Good luck, Bills, dude. Game of the weekend. I hope the Bills take it. They deserve due. I think Houston could give Baltimore a little bit of trouble as well. So I don't necessarily think it's the winner goes to Baltimore. I think the line's a little wide in that game.
Yeah.
But the Bills game, I think, is 2.
I mean, as a Bills fan, you expect the absolute soul-crushingly worst and hope for the best. Like that's.
But this is Mahomes' first road game, right? I think this is his first playoff road game. Or...
Yeah. Welcome to Orchard Park, buddy. Like it's not. Nobody's cheering for you here. It's gonna be. And now all the seats are probably gonna be like actually shoveled out. It's gonna be a packed out. It's gonna be loud in there. There is hope. Like the Bills, like all my group chats with all my buddies and stuff right now. It's like we are feeling pretty good, which means heartbreak is on the horizon historically. But I believe.
Good luck for the Bills. I'll be watching it. I don't know if I'm going to get to a bet. I would lean under if I had to give out a bet right now. Probably see it being like a 2017 game again. Kind of long drives, a lot of James Cook. But we'll see. Paul, thank you again. Guys, good luck in your bets. See you later tonight. And protect your bags.